Hello friends, I am Sanyukta and today we are going to be learning another Zentangle original pattern. In fact, three patterns, three of them being border or ribbon style tangles. They can be used in many other ways also, but since their look is like a border or ribbon, so they are called as such. So the first pattern that we are going to be learning today is called Onomato, right? So the pattern starts with two straight lines, and then I'm going to enclose some orbs within these lines, the parallel lines, right, like these, right, and then these small spaces that are left in between these orbs, I'm going to insert another set of orbs in these gaps like these, right, and then I'm going to add an aura to the lines that I've already drawn, and then also insert orbs inside these two lines like this. Right, so another line of orbs on the other side, like this, right? So the pattern is called Onomato, right? And then we have a pattern called Duda, introduced pretty recently by Maria, and the pattern is again between two lines and starts with alternating lines like this, right? One from top, one from bottom, one from top, one from bottom. So the lines are equidistant from each other, and they are, crossing each other. They are not at the same level, so they are traveling some distance, covering some distance on the other side, right? For example, I am talking about this distance, right? So they are not at the same level. And the third pattern which I am going to draw today is called eek, right? So how is the pattern drawn? Again two lines. Now I am going to be drawing these E kind of shapes, right? Pattern is somewhat like Duda principally, it looks different. And then I'm going to do the same exercise on the other side also, again coming in between these two, right? Not at the same level but coming between, just like Duda. Right, so go slow, this may take a little time but very simple to draw. So this is the pattern eek, this is the pattern Duda, and this is the pattern Onomato, right? They work as excellent border or ribbon tangles. How do we generally shade it? Orbs, as we know, the way we shade orbs or tipples, Duda on both the sides, and so are the eeks, shaded on both the sides. Generally what we do is fill in these small gaps that are left, right? like this. Adds to the look of the tangle. Right? If you want to vary the look of the Duda, you can add a dot at the ends, add a diamond at the ends. The look will be different. You can also add a little rounding like this, right? A little rounding at both the ends where the lines, or you can say I'm rounding the two corners of each line, right? So the look gets different, right? Again, you can play around with these orbs, including the bigger ones. I have kept the orbs plain. You can insert a pattern inside the orbs also, and the look of Onomato will vary, right? Like this, right? So how do we generally shade it? Again, Onomato, the orbs, just the way we shade our orbs, like tipple, right? Again, Duda generally shaded at the edges on the two sides. Not much required as far as shading is concerned. Same is with the pattern Eek. Right? So does it mean that these patterns are to be drawn in a straight line only because they are border patterns? No, not at all. You can manipulate it anyway. Just to give an example, this is a curved line, and I can always draw Duda inside it. So is an Onomato, and so is Eek, right? So it is not bound by straight lines, although the original pattern is drawn that way, but it can fit into any kind of lines, right? The first time that Maria introduced Duda, she drew it inside a circle, like this, right? So straight line is not the criteria. How to draw the pattern is more important. Right? So you can draw it anyway. So is true for Onomato. So if I want to draw Onomato in a circle, I can start the same way. Right? Orbs. Right, and then smaller orbs like this, right? So where do you draw it is not the criteria. How do you draw it is important, right? So this is Onomato in a circle. Right? So same is true with Eek. Eek is a very common fragment used. For example, in a circle, how would you draw Eek? You would draw something like this. Looks like a wonderful flower, isn't it? And then just fill up the edges. Right? So that is also Eek. So let us draw a simple tile today to understand these patterns. So in front of me is a square tile. Just to show you an example, this is a Zentangle tile that I drew recently. In between is the pattern Duda, Onomato, and then in the circles is the pattern Eek, right? So let us draw another tile today. So in front of me is a square tile on which I have drawn a string, which is the string that we use to draw the pattern well, right? And now what I'm going to do is ink the string. Right? And then I'm going to add these double lines. Again, add an aura to the line, add one more line. We have already drawn one tile of this type when we learned the pattern wells, if you remember. Again, so what I am trying to do is create space to draw the pattern Onomato, right? So after this we are going to just add orbs the way we draw inside the pattern Onomato. Right, then the third one. Doing the same exercise on all these 4 spaces. Right, and the last one. Right, and then what I'm going to do is in these 2 sections add the other 2 patterns, right? So I'm going again auraing the initial line but at a distance, again adding one more section, then again the last section, right? So I'm doing this exercise on both the sides. Adding again more set of double lines, for the other patterns that we learned. Right, now you can introduce Duda in the second one, right, or eek as you wish. I'm going to do eek here. Right, then from the other side. Like this. So adding the pattern eek, as I showed to you, right, and these small sections to be filled in, right, and in the third one let us draw Duda. Like this. Right, again in the fourth one we can repeat Onomato, or you can draw some other pattern if you wish. Right, like this, and then again eek, right. So I'm now going to complete these patterns. First add these orbs to fill up the in-between spaces. Right. Right, and then add orbs in this line, double line border. Like this, right, also at the bottom. Right, so we have filled up one portion of our wells. I'm going to be doing the same exercise on the other side also. So you can see here I have done the same exercise on both these sides, right, and for the remaining two you can either draw the same patterns, or I wish to draw the pattern Bunzo. Right, I'm going to add Bunzo here. Like these. right? Right, and going to ink it in the same manner all the way. So you can see here I have added the pattern Bunzo on both sides, right? So now let us start shading our tile right away. So again, as I showed to you, adding some graphite on one side of the orb and then blending it. Right, and then on both sides of the eek, both sides of Duda, right, top and bottom, adding some graphite. You can explore other shading options also. This is no standard way of shading. Generally, yes, it is shaded this way. But if you have introduced some variations, you can try other ways also. Right? And then some thick graphite on the corners of the Bunzo. We have already learned how to go about drawing the pattern Bunzo. It's very simple, just a series of C shapes joined together with alternate C's inked, right? So let us now start blending. I am just blending the graphite and then making a small circle inside the Onomato, right? Blending and then making a small circle inside like this, right? Again blending, making a small circle, like this. So it's interesting to see how you can use these patterns in different ways. Although they come up very handy as far as borders are concerned, but as I showed to you, no matter what kind of a space it is, you can very well use the patterns in a circle, in a curved structure, anyways, right? So now blending our graphite as I put on the two sides of the eek, and then Duda. Just added a little rounding from where the lines are starting, right? Then on the other side, make sure you leave a gap white, right? Right, and then the Bunzo, just pull the graphite from the edges. Make sure that the ink has dried up, because a lot of inking involved in Bunzo. If you start immediately, you may end up damaging your tile. So just taking the graphite away from the edges, taking it towards the center. Right, so you can see how bold ink portions of Bunzo add immediate lift to your tile. That's why they are called drama tangles. Right, so this is how our tile looks after shading. So let me now initial my tile. And sign and date it. Right, so I'll be posting a few more tiles of these three patterns, how you can use these three patterns in different ways, on my Facebook page Sanyukta Zentangle. So catch up and we'll meet again with another Zentangle original. Stay safe. Goodbye.